What if every volcano on Earth erupted at once? It's a question that sounds like the plot of a bad disaster movie, but let's unpack what would actually happen if, in one single horrifying instant, all of Earth's 1,500 active volcanoes and thousands of dormant ones suddenly decided it was party time. First, let's get one thing straight. A single major volcanic eruption can already have dramatic effects on the climate. In 1815, the eruption of Mount Tambora caused what became known as the Year Without a Summer, leading to crop failures and famines across the northern hemisphere. Now imagine not one, but every single volcano, from Mount Etna to Kilauea, from Eyjafjallajökull, the one that already delights in messing with air travel, to the colossal Yellowstone caldera going off in a single synchronized cataclysm. The result would make the worst moments in Earth's history look like a gentle spring picnic. The first immediate consequence would be deafening. The explosions alone would create shockwaves traveling thousands of kilometers, flattening forests, cities, and anything else unlucky enough to be within earshot. Giant pyroclastic flows, clouds of hot gas and ash moving faster than a speeding train, would incinerate everything in their paths. Coastal volcanoes would cause tsunamis as parts of mountains collapsed into the ocean. Every populated area near a volcano, think Naples by Vesuvius, Mexico City by Popocatépetl, Seattle by Mount Rainier, would be instantly devastated. Within hours, plumes of ash would rise into the atmosphere across every continent. The sky would darken worldwide. No matter where you were, Australia, Siberia, or the Sahara, you'd look up to see a rolling blanket of volcanic clouds spreading at frightening speed. Air travel? Completely gone. Ash particles clogged jet engines, making them stall. Runways would be buried under meters of ash. International aid or evacuation flights would be impossible. Even local travel would become a nightmare as roads vanished beneath gritty layers of volcanic fallout. The sun would become a faint orange disk in the sky, or vanish altogether, and day would feel like dusk even at noon. And then there's the sulfur. Volcanic eruptions eject sulfur dioxide, which combines with water vapor to form tiny droplets of sulfuric acid. These aerosols spread through the stratosphere and reflect sunlight back into space. With every volcano belching these compounds at once, Earth would be plunged into a volcanic winter, far colder and more prolonged than anything in recorded history. Global temperatures could drop by several degrees Celsius in mere months. That might not sound like much, but consider what happens when average temperatures fall by just 1 or 2 degrees. Growing seasons shorten, crops fail, and food chains collapse. Now, imagine that effect multiplied several times over. Agriculture would come to a screeching halt. Harvests would fail simultaneously around the world. Mass starvation would soon follow, not because the ash poisoned all the food, but because the cold and lack of sunlight would stunt or kill nearly every crop. Livestock would die from both the cold and the lack of food. The oceans wouldn't be spared either. With less sunlight reaching the surface, photosynthetic plankton, the foundation of marine food webs, would die off, leading to mass extinctions of fish and marine mammals. Acid rain, formed when volcanic gases mix with atmospheric moisture, would fall worldwide, burning plants, leaching toxins into waterways, and corroding infrastructure. People living near volcanoes wouldn't just suffer from immediate blasts, but also weeks to months of breathing in fine ash, which turns to a cement-like sludge in lungs and causes silicosis. Hospitals, if they're still standing, would be overwhelmed. Emergency services would collapse under the sheer scale of the disaster. Communication systems would fail as power grids go offline under the weight of ash and ice. Then there's the possibility of cascading events. All that weight of fresh snow-like ash could trigger building collapses in cities far from any volcano. Rivers and lakes would clog with ash, causing floods as water can no longer drain properly. Wildlife populations would collapse from a combination of habitat destruction, toxic air, and a sudden loss of food sources. The darkness would last for months, perhaps years. Depending on how much sulfur made it into the stratosphere, temperatures could remain depressed for a decade or more. This isn't just theoretical. Ice cores show evidence of past volcanic winters lasting several years, but never from all volcanoes erupting at once. This would be unprecedented in Earth's 4.5 billion year history. But let's zoom out even further. A global drop in temperature of even a few degrees for several years could push Earth into a mini ice age, with glaciers advancing and snow sticking around year-round at mid-latitudes. Species that can't migrate or adapt quickly